I can see in my team that some people love to be empowered and they have the muscles, the managerial muscle to kind of lift above their weight, but they can do it and they're super organized. We have this online project management system that we use, so they're always super organized and it's just a joy to work with. And some people in their personality, they just don't have it in them, right? And they basically kind of stumble over their own feet.
Hi, Will. Good to see you. Good to see you back in our coaching session again. How have you been?
Very good. Thank you so much, Jonathan. It's a joy to be back. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. I'm glad you have committed to the various sessions that we have had over the last 6 months. How has that worked for you so far?
Yeah, really good. It really helped me so much to kind of stay on track and have that sparring partner and mirror to sort out the things that I need to get sorted out in terms of my leadership effectiveness.
That's great. That's great. So for the purpose of your session today, what would you like to focus on? You know, how best can your time be used during our session now?
Yeah, so I really want to focus on empowering my team better, and especially to really, get that more ingrained, that everybody is really kind of taking their weight and run with it.
Okay. What does empowerment means to you? When you say the word empowerment, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, so empowerment really means to me personally that people know what they need to be doing, right? So that it's clear on what the end result of the delegated pieces that are on their desk, on their list are clear. So clear delegation in terms of deliverables that people need to come back with, and that there is clarity around the process and how they're going to get there. Clarity in terms of that they know how the process looks like, and also for me to understand how their process looks like, and that there is a good level of trust in them understanding that process themselves, and for me kind of thinking, I can trust that process too.
Okay. And how has that been working for you so far?
Yeah, very mixed results. Yeah, very mixed results. I mean, sometimes I got the feeling that people have been properly empowered, and then down the road, 2, 3, 4 weeks later, I realize, oh my goodness, they're in the wrong direction, or oh my goodness, they're working on the wrong things, or things are not happening. So and some people, they just kind of run with it, and it's like, yeah, this is amazing. Why didn't I do that earlier? So mixed results.
What do you feel led to the different results? So perhaps you can share what do you feel has worked out well, and maybe later what has been challenging for you.
Yeah, that's a good question, because I think I need to reflect on that more, and maybe this is a good occasion to have that discussion right here, right now. I feel that some of the people who I kind of know, because we have been working for a longer time together, and also have been more experienced inside our organization and have been in their job longer, they're kind of much more of I call it a reliable resource to work with and to rely on and to empower them. So I think I would want to say that empowerment works easier with them, because we kind of play the same music. Yeah, we sing the same song. And then in some of the areas where maybe I'm not so clear about myself, maybe social media marketing is one of our guys is good at that, which is not necessarily my forte. There seems to be some misdirection or miscommunication or mishap happening. That is one area. And coming to reflect on it, the other one is, I think, is that when people are newer to me or newer to the organization or newer in their current role, that also has been more challenging.
And based on what you have shared on those that has worked really well with you, right? Is there one example you can think of maybe one occasion that has worked out really well. What was that process like?
What was that process like? Yeah, so I think just to give you an example, right? So we just launched a new series of products, yeah, that are kind of new to the market in our current location. And yeah, our director of sales is a great guy. So he really he just made a good plan. He says, hey, this is the plan, these are the targets, that's how it looks like, this how I'm going to do it. So he had a really good plan of action that he could explain to me very well. And yeah, we made a step-by-step unfolding of that plan so that we have checkpoints, milestones along the road, to see that things are happening the way we agreed it to happen.
Okay.
That was a good example. Now, I must say that our sales guy is very experienced, so that helps. Yeah.
So I heard you mention a good plan, very structured. There was timelines and there was a milestone that you actually put into it. So what is your opinion if you were to replicate that successful process with some of the challenges you're facing, perhaps like with the social media team?
Yeah, so yeah, thanks for addressing it in that way, because one of the things I realized with our sales director, that the articulation of good goals, right? Kind of that we use SMART goals, a very common understanding. So to kind of use better SMART goals with our social media team to better articulate what success looks like down the road. Yeah. And having that step-by-step milestones as well, that we also kind of know these SMART goals are built up in these steps towards the ultimate success. Yeah. So I think that should be replicable, because that is something that I enjoy having clarity on, and I think that also creates then, yeah, for me, less kind of stress, pressure, and anxiety to be able to kind of hand it off to people.
So what does life without stress to you look like?
I have no idea how that life would look like. Yeah. Or maybe less stress, that would be a life to look like.
Okay. So what can you do differently based on your experience, having shared what you have shared, to improve further on the area of empowerment?
Yeah, so I think I just need to kind of articulate the empowerment process that I do with our sales director and with our head of finance, and articulate better how that process looks like, the process of empowerment. And once I have that then properly, let's say, outlined, see how I can kind of copy paste that approach then also to other teams like social media and PR and legal, and yeah, marketing. So all the various other, and R&D, and all the other guys who are part of the process.
So if you were to give a rating of 1 to 10, right? 10 being the highest, very empowered teams, 1 being very not empowered at all, where would you rate your teams right now? 1 to 10, 10 being the highest.
Well, so every team is actually on a different level. Yeah. And I think what I would love to do is to basically, once I have that process articulated, that I basically, for every team, kind of put a mark to that for myself, and thinking, hey, this team on the scale of 1 to 10, where they need to be, where are they now, and how we're going to bring them to the next level. So part of it, I think, is, and I'm going to make already jot a few things down on my action list, because that's the way I work. So part of it is that, process definition, and then the rating for 1 to 10 for every functional head. Yeah. Because not everybody's at the same level, and that's fine too, right? So not everybody, I have different people who are from different, let's say, walks of career, right? They kind of have not everybody has come the same route where we are today. So we need to also meet them at their level. Different people have different personalities around how to organize themselves. So we also need to appreciate that diversity, and that's all cool. There's no problem with that, but we still need to make sure that we get the results. And that requires for me to be more articulate around process, better assess where people are on the empowerment rating, and better understand where they need to take themselves to the next level.
Okay. So I'm hearing a lot of initiative and plans that you wish to do. And if there's one line that you can articulate for yourself that would be considered a success for you, what would that look like?
That's quite easy. We have every month we have business plan reviews, and if we have a business plan review where we can celebrate a lot of success without being able to kind of mourn the delays or the things that were not done well. So basically, successful business plan reviews.
And how would the success plan review and accountability, I mean, empowerment, right? You mentioned about empowerment. How does these two come together? Because I didn't hear the word empowerment in your one line, because what I'm hearing is a success plan review that is considered a success, but empowerment was not featured. So help me understand further.
Yeah, so as people are empowered, they basically have a clear plan on what needs to be delivered that's aligned between them and their team and me, and aligned between them and the other functions, so that basically they have a really good ready to rock and roll plan to work with, and then they are fully empowered to execute that, right? So empowerment means also including they are energized and resourced to do that. So that would make it then very straightforward.
Okay. What are some things that potentially may derail or be an obstacle for you moving forward?
In terms of empowerment?
Yeah,
I think shifting priorities, shifting priorities in the business or headquarters, shifting priorities, right? Because we also have a functional organization which is matrix based. So that means our head of sales and marketing and finance, they're not just reporting to me, they're also reporting to other people, right? And that priority, that shift of priorities could derail some of the empowerment, right? And part of that could be that resources are pooled, right? So that would be a shame, or that priorities are reset and then people get delayed. Yeah.
And how best can you manage this shifting priorities?
Yeah, how best can we manage this is, and thanks for tabling that. I think part of the empowerment plan should be that people need to kind of raise their hands if they see that their plan is being endangered by, let's call it, external circumstances, right? So there's kind of a hand raising system being part of that. But this is the plan. That's what we agreed. You're fully empowered to do that. If anything comes in the way, then raise your hand, right? As a kind of a flagging system.
Anything else that could be a derailment to greater empowerment?
Yeah, I think personality. Yeah. So, and I'm saying that because I can see in my team that some people love to be empowered and they have the muscles, the managerial muscle to kind of lift above their weight, but they can do it and they're super organized. We have this online project management system that we use, so they're always super organized and it's just a joy to work with. And some people in their personality, they just don't have it in them, right? And they basically kind of stumble over their own feet. So they have the right plans, and it's all clear and it's aligned and everybody is hyped and priorities are set and it's resourced, everything is done. And then they start rolling with that, and then they just get sidetracked, right? As in not staying focused on executing their plan.
So what needs to happen in that situation if it happens, when it happens?
Yeah, that's a little bit of a challenge, I think, because so one of the things I have tried before, and maybe I should reinforce that more, is the more tight control over a BPR process. So with some of the people who are super organized, I have a monthly cycle. And some of the people who are, let's say, less organized based on their personality, based on my experience, maybe I should have a weekly or every other week kind of a touch check-in meeting around this. Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned about shifting priorities and the different personalities. Anything that jumps to your mind at this point in time?
Can you rephrase that?
Yeah, so you mentioned about challenges of the shifting priorities, the different personalities that can derail the empowerment process. Anything else besides these two areas that could be an obstacles?
No, I think that's it. Yeah, that should cover most, if not everything. Yeah.
So imagine in an ideal situation, if these two areas are not there, it's not a challenge anymore. What would success be like for you and your teams in the areas of empowerment?
Yeah, so we have this kind of weekly success celebration where everybody on a weekly basis through our messaging system in the success channel, in the win channel, where people then put, hey, this went well this week, this went well this week. So what should happen there is that people report the wins that they scheduled to deliver, and then we just have more hearing going on in those messaging channels, right? That people feel, yeah, that's really cool. Yeah.
Okay. And how would you drive this commitment with your team to make sure that the process is being followed through?
Yeah. So I'm going to have my I have a kind of an XO, right? Kind of somebody who kind of manages the execution of things. So I'm going to empower that person to basically check the boxes to make sure that people are, so they can check the wins, yeah, and make sure that people also report those wins, and also check on the discipline of the execution of these plans. That's possible, yeah.
Okay.
And this person is super organized, yeah.
Okay,
The
great.
ex-military guy, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well done. So besides the EXO, anything else that you would like to implement or even doing more after our conversation today?
No, I think that's it. Yeah. So if I tighten that up, that's gonna be a big shift. That's gonna be a big win.
Okay. How would you know that you have succeeded in these areas? Is it only through that meeting that you gauge a good understanding of where empowerment lies?
Yeah, as a first, as a first next level up, yes, yeah, because I can check through our BPRs whether people are doing what they supposed to be doing, and also I can then also ask them about how they're experiencing the process. Because I mean, it sounds all very execution plan driven, but the thing is, they make their own plans, right? So they kind of commit themselves to what they want to commit to, and they kind of do that with their teams. So it's basically they make their own shopping list and go shopping themselves and have fun doing it, right? So it's all in their own hands.
And how committed are you to the whole process of really setting this empowerment into action? What would you rate your commitment level in making this a reality?
it's a do or die commitment. Jonathan. No, I mean, this needs to be done. Yeah. So on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 12. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Very good. And how accountable do you have an accountability person that can assist you in this process besides the EO? I guess the EO will be the person. Or what are your thoughts about someone holding? How would you hold yourself accountable in this process?
Yeah. So our project management system has a scoreboard that I can easily see how well we executed on our plans. And I'm going to share that scoreboard with you, that you kind of know how am I doing and how the teams are doing, and then you also can have a look into where you see where some teams are doing better, and then we can also talk about the why down the road in our next sessions. Yeah, because these things are ideally very ideal, but in actual practice, things might not work exactly like that. So I think that would help. So our XO is making that making those dashboards, and that's very easy then to track. Yeah. Thank you, technology. Yeah.
Okay. That's great. Always great to have a technology and a platform available to make that happen. Huh?
Yeah.
So in terms of a recap, right, based on the conversation, what is the few things that you would like to start doing immediately after our coaching session today?
Yes, I already made an action list here for what I want to do to articulate the process of empowerment with every team individually based on the success that we have been booking with our sales team. Yeah, so that we have a clear process. This is what empowerment means. Yeah,
right.
So I have people understand that, and I'll ask my team to provide their input to it so that we kind of have a definition and process that is generally accepted. And then I'm going to work with everybody to understand where they are and what they want to do to get to the next level. I will rate everybody on a scale of 1 to 10 on their capabilities and in being empowered, because we need to kind of meet people at their level.
Right.
I'm going to tie that into the BPR process so that we have a clarity around on that the meeting cycle, how that's being run. And then I will decide which team I'm going to have a weekly or every other week check-in meeting with them. I'm going to ask my XO to create that dashboard so that we have clarity around the execution and the numbers around that. And I'm probably going to revisit everybody's personality assessment that we did, I think it was last year, also one of the sessions that we did with your team, to kind of revisit those personality profiles and kind of see which people are more from their personality inclined to work this process easily and be empowered versus the others, where I probably need to kind of keep an eye on more closely so that I can facilitate their success.
Right.
That's my list.
Okay. Wow, that's quite a lot. That's quite a few. Why I'm excited for you with the different things that you would like to do. There's about 5 to 6 that I've actually jotted down myself too, based on what you have just shared. Anything that will stop you from making this happen? Because there's quite a lot on your plate with this 5 to 6 things. I
need to make this a priority. So, and it has to be a priority because it's also a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way that if I do this well, I have more time to do other things well. So, yeah, we just got to get this started. Yeah.
Okay.
But I have a plan now. So,
okay.
A man with a plan is a man with a mission, or something like that. Yeah.
Cool. What is now to you? What does now mean to you?
As in getting this started now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to put this today in my in our project management platform, and then I'm going to plan tomorrow morning a meeting with my XO to schedule this out, and that we have then this week and early next week's meetings with everybody to make this operational.
Cool. Very cool. And where would you like to start gauging on your success? Is there a timeline that you're looking at?
Yeah, I think if we meet again in a month's time, that that would be a good time to measure success. Yeah, and to me, measurement of success would be that this process has been implemented and rolling, that we have one cycle done, and that we kind of see what's going well and where some of the pain points are, because it's not going to be perfect. And it probably never will. But the whole point is, if we know what's going well, where we just need to put in more fuel to go faster, that's great. And if we know what's not going well, that we bring the toolbox to fix it, that will make that great.
Okay, excellent. Cool. Anything else you'd like to discuss during our session today?
No, I think I have a good list, and thanks for sharing your sharing your time today, because this really helped me to create a lot of clarity around how I need to put this into practice in our organization.
Great. It's always a pleasure to have conversation with you, and I'm glad to see your excitement and your commitment level to make this happen for you and your team too. So looking forward to our next session in 30 days time. Thank you, Will.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. Great meeting today again. Very helpful. Thank you.
Excellent.